That was definitely somebody screaming.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't fancy getting.
The first video tonight comes from Dead Air, a UK-based paranormal investigation channel hosted by a solo explorer who travels to the world's most notorious dark tourism hotspots. Known for an authentic, grounded approach, the host uses night vision, drone cinematography, and biometric tracking to document high-intensity solo stays in legendary haunted locations. It is July 30th, 2025 in Hoia Baciu Forest, Transylvania, Romania.
I wasn't even supposed to be recording this bit. Already, something, I probably fell out of that tree, but it felt like it was chucked at me, like an acorn or something. It landed, literally.
As the investigator enters the dense woodland to get his bearings, the forest immediately reacts. A small object, possibly an acorn or a stone, is thrown from the canopy, landing just a couple of feet away. He notes the atmosphere feels intense, and at the same time, his GPS begins malfunctioning, spinning and failing to provide a stable position.
Interference on my device distorts the audio, and the GPS tries to take me in a completely opposite direction.
So I'm literally following the map that loaded when I set it up before. That means
As he moves deeper into the dead zone, the interference escalates. The audio on his recording device begins to distort, and the GPS signal fails completely, at one point attempting to lead him in the opposite direction. He realizes that without reliable navigation, getting lost here becomes a real possibility.
Lights darting between the trees. Now on camera it probably doesn't look like much, but from the naked eye, they were sort of moving in a strange, dancing motion. Now look at the canopy, you can still see it's daylight outside.
Despite there still being daylight above the canopy, he captures white lights moving between the trees. He initially considers distant headlights from the nearby city of Cluj, but the movement is erratic and non-linear, not matching any road pattern or consistent direction.
stuff all around me, just noises. It's stuff falling out of trees. I am currently on the furthest west of this forest, so it's technically the furthest away from.
While speaking directly to the camera, a small light anomaly appears in the background behind him. He doesn't notice it at the time, but the footage captures a point of light moving through the trees in an area that appears otherwise empty.
It's got a forest. What on earth is that? I'm hearing noises everywhere.
Using a paranormal mapping application in the center of the dead zone, the device renders a tall, hooded figure. The investigator identifies it as a witch, with the figure appearing completely still among the trees, despite nothing being visible to the naked eye.
That is definitely a witch. That is so strange. People will come here and do witchcraft, you know they will. You absolutely know they will.
I completed my challenge for night 1. I trekked back out of the forest to my accommodation, and straight away, the GPS was mixed up.
I think I'm going the right way. Only time will tell. What is that? Oh, it's a pit back. I thought it was snake skin at first. I thought that was snake skin. Am I going the right way? No. I'm supposed to be going this way. I think this is the way. This is the weight of freedom on my first night inside the Hoia Baciu forest in Transylvania. Walk through here. Now I'm going the long way back, but that's just because I've been... Look at all these trees.
Immediately after this, he begins hearing movement from multiple directions. The sense of being surrounded builds, and his biometric tracker records a noticeable spike in stress as the atmosphere becomes more intense.
Trees. That's what I see. Complete darkness other than my headlamp or my torch.
I decided to look at some of the mysterious photos that have been sent to me from the Hoia Baciu forest.
While making his way back out in full darkness, his torch reveals items of clothing hanging from the trees. The presence of these objects, combined with the forest's reputation for disappearances, adds a physical layer to what had previously only been environmental and technical anomalies. The investigation concludes with a difficult navigation back out as his GPS continues to behave unpredictably. The experience reinforces Hoia Baciu's reputation for both technical interference and environmental anomalies. Between the mapping figure and the unexplained light captured behind him, the encounter shifts from isolated incidents to a pattern. Not fully confirmed, but consistent enough to leave the impression that something within the forest is affecting both perception and equipment at the same time. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, leaving a like really helps. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. We recently passed 50,000 subscribers, and that's entirely because of you. The next target is 100,000 before the end of the year. Ambitious, but worth aiming for. There's a hidden word somewhere in this video. See if you can spot it. Now, let's continue. The next horrifying video comes from Paranormal Discovery, a Canadian-based adventure channel exploring the intersection of cryptid hunting and spiritual investigation. Led by a creator who prioritizes raw authenticity over staged jump scares, the content follows immersive journeys into deep wilderness to document encounters with Sasquatch, interdimensional beings, and restless spirits. It is May 9th, 2025 in Scarwoods, Nova Scotia, Canada. The video opens with a reflective setup, contrasting the modern world with the unknown elements that may still exist in untouched wilderness. He prepares to return to Scarwoods, referencing a previous encounter tied to the spirit of an Indigenous child. That context matters, because it establishes the location as already active before this investigation even begins.
What the hell? I think I heard a tree knock. Just like a bah. Okay. Oh.
While moving through a ravine off-trail, a loud tree knock stops him instantly. The sound is sharp, deliberate, and carries through the forest in a way that doesn't match random breakage. It aligns with known signaling behavior, often associated with Sasquatch encounters.
No, for sure. That was weird, Key. What the hell? Why'd you go under that? But yeah, we do know for a fact that he does kind of lurk in these woods. I hope he comes this far because he came back the other way. And where we were was kind of pushed more like way, way down there, if that kind of makes sense.
As he reflects on the location again, he notes a pattern. This presence only appears after pushing deeper into the forest. That introduces the idea of a boundary, where activity increases once a certain point is crossed.
Hello? That was tree knock. I almost swear that was tree knock. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop. Whoop.
At the campsite, his dog Kiki begins acting out of character. Normally calm, she becomes restless and alert, refusing to settle. That behavior shift matters because it suggests she's reacting to something the camera can't pick up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave our stuff here, and yeah, I'm gonna pack our equipment though, leave the blankets, leave the tent, leave the camp, and then come back with Chelsea. I want to get her out of here. Something's happening to her, and I don't know what it is, but she's not herself. Hey, Key, look, come here. Has sticks and stuff.
This is really creepy. Look at this shroom. Go.
The final detail comes from the environment itself. A large root system has been pulled up unnaturally, with surrounding trees left untouched. Nearby, there are structured stick formations that don't match natural collapse or decay, indicating deliberate placement. This one builds through pattern rather than a single event. Initial rejection, repeated tree knocks, behavioral changes in the dog, and physical manipulation of the environment all point in the same direction. Nothing is directly seen, but the consistency is what holds it together. Each element reinforces the idea that something is aware of his presence and responding to it. By the end, the decision to leave isn't based on proof. It's based on risk. The next chilling video comes from Cursed Urban, a US-based paranormal and solo camping channel, hosted by investigator Dan. The content focuses on high-tension overnight stays in locations tied to dark folklore, particularly Skinwalker sightings and aggressive spirits. It is April 25th, 2026, in Illinois, United States. Dan returns to a section of woodland he refers to as Skinwalker Forest, where he previously reported being hit by a thrown branch. On arrival, he notices the trail has been freshly groomed with mulch, but there are no tire tracks or signs of public use. That detail stands out because it suggests recent activity without a clear source. The atmosphere is immediately tense, and he admits to feeling on edge as he moves toward a campsite on nearby private land.
Right back there. That was definitely somebody screaming. Who was that I just heard?
Conjured.
Oh, conjured, dude. Oh, right when we hear that scream, we get the response conjured. Can you tell me who that was? Dude, that's...
Moments later, Dan stops after spotting a white figure standing between the trees. He describes it as humanoid, visible for a brief moment before disappearing as he tries to focus on it. The sighting unsettles him, and the devices begin producing words like greater magic and blood, reinforcing the idea that the encounter is escalating.
Get out.
Get out. Are you saying that you want me to leave this area? Because keep in mind, guys, like, we are backed up to the Skinwalker forest right now. This is where, like, the forest starts on this property. And when we were out there earlier, remember, it told us that it was pretty much that it was not happy that we were there. that I was not welcome there, and now it's telling me to get out. So okay, I will take that loud and clear. That I feel free now. I feel free now. We'll take that loud and clear that I am not welcome here.
Back at camp, the tone shifts further. The communication becomes more direct. A clear instruction comes through. Get out, followed by, I feel free now. That matters because it moves from passive observation to something that appears aware and responsive.
Whoa, what is that? Is that a squirrel? You guys just see that run up the tree? What is that? It was like some little animal that ran up. It wasn't a chipmunk, and it looked too small to be a squirrel, or it was too small to be a squirrel. It was like a baby squirrel. But did it just jump? They're throwing stuff at me? Dude, what was that? That was crazy. I don't know what that was. Charlotte. I have no idea what that was. Just like ran up the tree then. It looked like it threw something at me.
1730.
1730. Dude, I don't know what that... We don't have any small mammals like that in Illinois. Like, alright, it was like a chipmunk. It looked like a chipmunk, but with a long tail. No idea what that was. It might have just been a small squirrel, but I don't know. I only saw its rear end, and then I saw it like peek over at me. Maybe it was a cryptid. Maybe it was one of the most like cuddly cute cryptids we've ever seen. Must have really wanted to get home though. It ran right past me up the tree. It was like, no, I don't care that you're here. I'm going home.
Mary Ann.
Tired. Mary Ann. So now we're getting names. We got 3 names. I'm worried that this thing's gonna like throw.
Near the fire, a small animal with an unusually long tail is seen climbing a tree. Dan notes that it doesn't match typical local wildlife in either appearance or movement. It's not confirmed as anything unusual, but in the context of everything else, it adds to the uncertainty. The session ends with repeated responses from the device, including aggressive and ancient spirit. The language becomes consistent, focused on hostility and presence, leading Dan to shut everything down rather than continue provoking a reaction. This one escalates in clear stages: unusual environment, then sound, then visual, then direct response, followed by physical disturbance. Nothing is definitively confirmed, but the pattern is consistent. Each moment builds on the last, moving from distant activity to something much closer to camp. By the end, the decision to stop isn't about proof. It's about recognizing that whatever is there, real or perceived, is no longer staying at a distance. The next shocking video of the night comes from Wild Bliss Bunny, a niche YouTube channel focused on solo female stealth camping and urban exploration. The creator, Bunny, documents high-tension overnight stays in exposed locations such as industrial parks, abandoned buildings, and car parks, where remaining unnoticed becomes the main challenge. It is May 2nd, 2026, in an industrial warehouse zone, United States.
Here, homeless people, and that's a little iffy, so I'm not quite sure. I'm just scanning the scenery, but let me show you what I'm talking about. So here, it looks like there's another path to there, I can't get my suitcase through all this stuff. This is what I'm talking about. So there's some clothes there, tissue. Obviously someone was going to the bathroom right there. Someone's sock is right there. Looks like someone's tarp is right there. So likely someone is staying there. I think let's make some food and we'll ponder. We won't quite set up sleeping stuff yet.
On arrival, Bunny immediately notices signs the area isn't empty. Discarded clothing and makeshift tarps suggest other people are using the space. That uncertainty changes the approach. Instead of settling in, she keeps everything packed while cooking a quick meal, ready to move at any moment. As darkness sets in, a truck pulls into a nearby warehouse, forcing her to abandon the spot before she's seen.
I'm hiding from them. I don't want anyone to know I'm here. I may have blown my cover. I went over just to like peek around to see, oh my gosh, are they still there? And I definitely saw someone. And I was full on in the light, so they might have seen me too. That same bike guy I was trying to hide from, I think might be passing by. I'm invisible. There's a car passing by. I face the black part of the suitcase to the road, the yellow part to me.
The cyclist passes again, this time much closer. With no time to relocate, Bunny uses her luggage as cover, positioning it to break her outline and blend into the shadows. Cars move along the road nearby, but she remains undetected.
That car just pulled in. So I am in the shadows. Oh my goodness. Hopefully they don't see me. Now I'm like, what is that car doing? So this is how far that car is away from me right now. See my sleeping bag? See the car? Oh, it looks like they're just kind of sitting in there with some sort of light on. So anyways, I don't think they...
After finally settling into a darker corner behind a building, a car pulls into the same space and idles just meters away. Bunny stays completely still, watching the lights and waiting it out, unsure if her position has been compromised.
I'm like in my sleeping bag at that point. But the dude was super cool. He was just, all he said was, "You good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good, thank you." And he just kept walking, went in, he came back out, went to his car again. But like, cool people are just, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, you good? You good? All right, you know, not gonna hassle you. He could see that I was like on my way out. And when he came back,
The interaction is brief. The worker simply asks if she's okay. She confirms and immediately begins packing up as the area starts to come alive with trucks and activity, ending the window where staying hidden is possible. This one isn't built on a single event. It's built on pressure. Every movement, every sound, every light source carries risk. There's no clear threat, but no real safety either. By the end, nothing actually happens. But that's the point, because the tension comes from how close everything gets without crossing the line. The next video comes from Lisa's Escapades, a US-based outdoor adventure and research channel exploring the intersection of wilderness survival and cryptid phenomena. The content follows a grounded, found footage style, using audio recorders and long-term observation to document potential Sasquatch activity in remote environments. It is May 2nd, 2026 in Green Swamp, Florida, United States. The expedition begins with a push into a dense section of cypress swamp described as squatchy. Early signs of wildlife are present, including a feeding site where a raccoon has hollowed out an orange. As she moves deeper into previously unvisited terrain, The ground becomes unstable, sinking underfoot, while dense cypress stumps close in, creating a more confined and difficult environment to navigate.
I just thought I heard something. I hear people. That's really weird. I hear some people talking. At least I thought I did. Huh. Oh, I do hear somebody. Look at the size of that tree. Somebody's up here. I hope it ain't somebody that's gonna hurt me. Oh!
The voices are identified as two other researchers retrieving equipment near the river. Their presence explains the sound, but also confirms that this location is actively being studied. They discuss the terrain and the need for protective gear, reinforcing how physically demanding and isolated the area is.
Were those sticks there when you guys came through earlier? Just one of them was?
Yeah. Last time we were here, there was just the one. Now there's two.
Because this was, I wanted to take it. It was really straight.
Is it down in the ground? Oh no. Hikers probably. Maybe I'll use it. Yeah, I'll use it and then leave it. It's a nice stick. Man, there's a lot of cypress stumps out here. That looks like an accident waiting to happen. Look at them all. You trip over one of those, you'll know it. There's trails all going through here. What was that, a gator? That area over there I think is pretty big.
Deeper into the swamp, an abandoned fish camp and hunting blind are discovered. The space feels lived in, despite being derelict. Tension rises when a large alligator is spotted close to the path, making it clear that the environment itself is the primary threat.
Thought I just saw some eye shine over here, but I don't see it now. So this is what my fairy lights look like in my truck at nighttime. You see I got everything closed except for where the screen is. I have fans running. And yeah, pretty comfortable. And I made this like wedge to go into my head, and now my back doesn't hurt, so I'm happy. There's a big old gator right there. That's his eyes.
Moments later, a large alligator surfaces near the camp, confirming at least part of the movement around them is wildlife, though not all sounds are immediately accounted for. This one sits between explanation and uncertainty. Voices are identified. Wildlife is confirmed, but not everything lines up cleanly. The altered structures, the isolated setting, and the repeated sense of being observed create a layered environment where multiple factors overlap at once. By the end, nothing is fully confirmed beyond natural presence, but the consistency of small, unexplained details keeps the situation open. Before we get into the next clip, around 70% of people watching aren't subscribed. We're working toward 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you're enjoying the video, hitting subscribe really does help. All right, let's get back to it. The last video of the night comes from Nomad Sam, a UK-based outdoor adventure channel focused on a raw, off-grid lifestyle. Sam documents solo wilderness travel across the Scottish Highlands, capturing both the physical and psychological reality of navigating remote terrain. It is May 6th, 2026 in the Scottish Highlands, United Kingdom. Determined to complete a hill that previously stopped him, Sam sets out from a nearby village and quickly realizes there are no defined paths. The route becomes entirely off-trail, forcing him to navigate uneven terrain from the start.
That was pretty terrifying. I almost went up to my knee in this mushy peat. Whew! Wow, super boggy. Yeah, I did read a comment saying to probably get some hiking sticks to test the ground in front of you. That's a very, very good idea for places like this. Honestly guys, if I took a few more steps there, I probably would have been waist deep. That was pretty scary. Whew. But we're gonna soldier on. Yeah, I mean, that is just the only problem with going off the beaten track. You know, you never know what you're really walking into. Honestly guys, that gave me a proper fright, that did. Whew. That was not good. Hopefully that's the only sort of sinking mud pool that I find.
Progress is then blocked by a large wire fence stretching across the route. With no way for the dog to pass through or over it, Sam is forced to follow the perimeter instead. It slows everything down and creates a temporary sense of setback until he eventually finds a small gap and continues.
Oh my God, it's an ambulance! What? That is an ancient ambulance. I thought that was a dead sheep then. Wait, is it? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't fancy getting inside of there actually.
As rain begins to move in, he takes brief shelter near an abandoned ambulance left deep in the landscape. The structure is deteriorated and offers minimal protection, but its presence in such an isolated location adds an unusual, almost surreal element to the trek.
Thinking about deep holes and crevices all over the place. And look, it's even claimed a victim. There's a sheep skull in there. You know, if that was sort of covered up a little bit with the shrubbery, you could easily fall straight into there. So
as he approaches the summit, conditions shift rapidly. Low cloud drops onto the hill, reducing visibility to near zero. Wind and rain intensify, and the landscape loses all clear reference points.
guys, I literally cannot see my way back. That is pretty crazy. But yeah, I think as I descend, it'll get a lot better. So yeah, I'm just gonna make my way back down, step by step. Wow, this is really quite something else. Really just goes to show how incredibly quickly the weather can change up here. You can really get caught out.
In a full whiteout, Sam admits he can't see a way forward or back. Navigation becomes entirely dependent on GPS. At this stage, the objective is no longer reaching the top. It's maintaining direction and avoiding getting lost in exposed terrain. This one builds through escalation rather than a single event. Difficult terrain, blocked routes, and shifting weather all combine to remove control step by step. By the end, the climb stops being about reaching the summit and becomes about getting back safely. The outcome isn't failure, it's decision-making under pressure. Thanks for watching. If those 6 encounters rattled you, be sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more creepy content every week. The next mystery might be even darker than this one.